Ladies and gents, welcome back. Running a few minutes late here. Sorry, 5 minutes. My bad. It's been a day. It has been a crazy, crazy day, a crazy evening as well. So if you're just tuning in now, you maybe don't know that I got sick. I got, I don't know, seasonal flu, whatever it is. People might jump into what that means, but no, it's just a fever. The whole family got it, and then yeah, we're all kind of on the outs, on the getting over it. Anyway, this is the Friday night live stream. If you're tuning into this tomorrow or the next day or another day, this was live, and you can leave comments in the comment section down below to any of the topics that we get to in this live stream. This is the format that we do on Fridays. Hey everybody, say hello in the chat for all those that are here live. Say hello, hello, hello. I need to refresh this because I'm not seeing the chat on this end, but I'll get that going. But yeah, okay, there we have chat. Play with puppets. Like what puppets? I don't play with puppets. You're a champ, Clyde. Yeah, thanks, man. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's just you know, you get used to having a routine, and you wanna make sure everybody. You know what's funny? I had there was a holiday a little while ago, and I took the time off, and people actually started emailing me saying, "Are you okay, Clyde? I didn't see anything posted from you. Did you get deleted from YouTube or something?" But yeah, no, people were genuinely concerned. So I definitely put out that video, which I saw the irony of right away, that I was making a video about the fact that I hadn't made videos in a day. But yeah, no, that was I put that out there just to keep people from worrying, because I had some people with some genuine concerns leading up to that. But here we are. This is the Friday night live stream where I tend to go over stories that either weren't big enough stories to do a whole video about, or just never got to, because sometimes you just don't get to every story. Sometimes there's just way too much in the news, which seems to be one of those weeks this week. We should all ignore our federal government WEF puppets. Trying to ignore them. Yeah, I'd ignore those puppets. those are terrible ones, the WEF puppets. But yeah, that one's we're gonna get into that a little bit here tonight. That is definitely the thing. And then I don't know if this one's gonna go as long, because the plan is, after this live stream, we're all going to file over to the Discord server, where we're going to have a viewing of Dinesh D'Souza's new video called 2000 Mules, which Ratman in the Discord's telling me he has his own copy of. I just purchased it, so that's a thing. I just had to get that so that we could all check that out. But yeah, definitely a movie to be seen and shared around with everybody. But and for things that we're not allowed to say on this platform, just not allowed to talk about these things. But yeah, you can go over to Rumble, and you can watch the trailer for it. But you have to. The only way I found to get it was to go to Locals, Dinesh D'Souza's Locals, and you can purchase it there. I dislike Trudeau and Jagmeet and the CCP. Yeah, they all seem to be part and parcel of the same group. So I'm with you on that one there, Paul. I'm definitely with you on that one. Sorry if my voice is getting hoarse on this one. Some good news, though, this week. So I did that video about James Topp. About how the global news breaking story of old news from February was talking about James Topp being charged, and no mention, absolutely zero mention, of the fact that he's marching 4,000 kilometers from British Columbia to Ottawa. And so I put that video out there because I thought there was a bit of humor to that, just at how blatantly terrible our media is in this country. But the people from James Topp's group got a hold of me, and they say, "Hey, James would like to he watched your video, and he'd like to have a chat with you." And I thought that was super cool. So we're going to try to set that up. I'm a busy guy. I work 5 days a week. I keep my usual routine, and I do this YouTube stuff on top of that. So, yeah, we're gonna have to try to schedule something out because he is definitely on the march, and we'll try to make sure that he's not staying up too late to do one of my live streams. But looking forward to having a chat with him. A lot of people say interviews. I like that. It's less of an interview and more of a chat, I think, when I speak with people. Look at you, Clyde. You a famous man. 83,000 people famous, apparently. YouTube's growing. It's amazing. I'd love to see all of you guys in here chatting in that chat room. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to chatting with James Top. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool that he reached out to me, and we're gonna be setting that up. Now, well, where should we go first? There's too much happening in the on the interwebs this week. But I guess I'll start with this little thing, because the well, let's make sure that my web browser's working here. Is it gonna pop up? But bling, there we go. Look at Buffalo Man here. So Prime Minister Justin Trudeau reacts to the Conservative Party leadership candidate Pierre Poliev's pledge to fire the Bank of Canada's governor. He says it's somewhat disappointing in an era when we need more responsible leadership. This guy talking about responsible leadership. How cute. How cute. And I'll put my headphones on so that we don't get blasted from two different directions. My kids clearly have been messing with these. So that's a thing. For any of you that don't have kids yet, get used to that, because your kids will just mess with everything you have. Everything. Excuse me. So I'm gonna be coughing throughout this one, because yeah, I got something. I don't think it's the coof, but we'll see. Let's just have a gander at these just brilliant words from this interesting character.
Canada, and specifically Canada's banking system, and more specifically the Bank of Canada, is recognized as having one of the strongest, most stable, most reputable banking systems in the world, and Canada's central bank is highly respected around the world as being a strong institution. The independence of the Bank of Canada from the government of the day is a really important principle that ensures the stability and the good reputation of Canada in international economic circuits.
This guy has no care in the world about reputation in economic circles. He put freezes on people's bank accounts, causing investors to pull all their money out of Canada. So if he wants to talk about having good faith with economics around the world, get out of town. Anyway,
is something that is a source of pride and a source of stability, not just for Canadians, but for Canadian businesses, for Canadian investors and investments, for investors coming into Canada to know that we have a robust and rigorous central bank that is independent from political machinations or interference. The fact that one of the leading candidates for the Conservative Party.
Okay, before he gets into that, is the Bank of Canada an independent body? That is the question. Is it actually acting as an independent body? Literally. So I put in a response here, because this is the True North. I said the Bank of Canada hasn't been independent of political pressure from global entities. Why should Canadians have no say? Or why should Canadians not have a say in what they do with our currency? I think this is our lifeblood. These elitists, they don't realize that they're messing with our lifeblood. Our lifeblood is our investments and all that stuff. The currency is a means of exchange. And if you manipulate it for your political whim, people are going to get upset about it, because you're ruining our savings. You're ruining our lifeblood, what we work hard for. And then to turn around and say that firing the leadership because he's made a basically a blank check for this trust fund baby is a bad thing. It's going to cause ripples of distrust. I doubt that. I doubt that. If anything, it'll create more trust from businesses or people that are looking to invest in Canada, if anything. But maybe not the global elites that are getting the money handed to them. First and foremost, as we learned this week, this guy gave $3 million of taxpayers' money to the World Economic Forum, a forum, a club of people that claim themselves as elite billionaires. They got their hands out for Canadian tax dollars. So you got miners and mechanics and truck drivers footing the bill for billionaires at the World Economic Forum at the hands of Justin Trudeau. Get out of town. That just drives me absolutely nuts.
Canada, the leader of the opposition, seems to profoundly either misunderstand that or not care about the facts at all, is somewhat disappointing in an era where we need more responsible leadership, not less. But that is a decision, obviously, for members of the Conservative Party to weigh in on, not for me.
Ultimate word salad from Justin Trudeau here. Ultimate word salad. Excuse me. But yeah, responsible leadership. What does responsible leadership look like in the eyes of Justin Trudeau? I think what our leaders have forgotten is that they're representatives. And the idea of leadership as like a decree, like you have, oh, you got voted in, so now you just have carte blanche to do whatever you want. No, you still represent your demographic. You represent the citizens of this country. So what am I missing in the chat? FFS sausage fingers. Are you talking about mechanics? But yeah, no, this is a representative democracy, not. They seem to have forgotten what democracy even means. But so Pierre Poliev jumped on social media to give a retort of sorts. So here we go.
So the elites in Ottawa are just beside themselves because I said that as Prime Minister, I would fire the Governor of the Bank of Canada for surrendering his independence and agreeing to become Justin Trudeau's personal ATM machine, printing $400 billion to fund government debt and causing the out-of-control inflation that we have today. And this inflation is literally destroying people's lives. We've got 30-year-olds who are living in their parents' basements because they can't afford a home. Single moms who can't afford food and they're skipping meals so their kids don't have to. I met a working guy in Northern Ontario who actually
sorry, I tried to hit
can't
pause.
afford to fill up.
Spare me the epic music. Come on, Pierre. Just talk without the, like, what is this, early 2000s? Like, you gotta have the epic music. It reminds me of like old Ron Paul videos when they just show like stuff he said in Senate or in Congress and throw epic music behind it. Yeah, come on. Blah blah blah. He talks a good talk, but does not walk it. He does not walk it. Is that true? I'd like to see the Conservatives definitely grow a pair, because that's not what they've done. And I'm kind of on the fence. I'm still on the fence, and I think that's the best position to be, is on the fence. Because if they don't grow a pair, we need to either, strip what's going on within the parties, or vote for another party. That's for sure. I'm on board with that, because no, we can't keep going in the direction that we're going. This is not great. Someone was asking about what de-googled phone I have. I don't have a de-googled phone. I don't know if I'll ever get a de-googled phone. that's another topic altogether. But once you go de-Google, doesn't that like red flag you even further? It's more about being careful what you do on Google and on the surveillance that they have on you, less than getting rid of all the surveillance. As soon as you get rid of all the surveillance, there's a big flag on you. But let's get into this more.
Up his truck
Epic
with
music.
diesel to drive to North Bay and see his dying parents for one last time. Those people are suffering. You know what bothers me most about these elites who say that powerful people can never be fired is that these same elites would have no problem firing the waitress,
yeah, us plebs. They don't care about plebs, but they require our votes. That's the thing. They require our votes. Or as we'll see in Dinesh D'Souza's movie after the stream, maybe they don't require our votes. But I'm not making any statements about the fortitude of any elections. I wouldn't ever possibly be allowed to do that, or would do that on YouTube. Those fortified elections, they're very fortiful. But anyway, let's hear more of this epic music with Pierre talking.
Elder, the barber, or any other working class person who messed up on the job. Yet, they think that there are certain people that are so powerful and precious that no matter how badly they mess up their jobs, they should be entitled to keep them. Well, that's not how it's going to work under my leadership.
Is that like too big to fail, but like for a job? Like I'm too elite to be fired. Isn't that? I don't know. This is, ridiculous.
Tiff Macklin, the governor of the Bank of Canada, had one job, which is to keep prices stable and inflation low. The target is 2%. Inflation is now 6.7%, more than 3 times above the target. And that underestimates the real inflation rate, because of course it doesn't include real estate prices, and up until recently has excluded other things.
Yeah,
so
well, keep changing the
he has one
basket
job.
of goods.
He failed to do it because he decided to work for Justin Trudeau and help Trudeau keep his job by printing money for these insane, out-of-control deficits. And so having failed in that job, I'm holding him accountable and replacing with someone who will do the job right. I will hire a governor of the Bank of Canada who will keep inflation low and prices stable so that people can afford food, gas, homes, and everything else.
The epic music is just getting too epic for me for what's being
You're
said
accountable for your performance when you do your work. So should the most powerful people in the country, and they will be accountable when I'm Prime Minister. I'm running for office to give you back control of your life by making this country the freest on earth, and that means making government and all of its most powerful people servants and not masters.
Whoa, it just got louder epic. Sorry, Pierre, kill the epic music. It's not adding more to what you're saying. Just say the things, just straight up. If you're watching this, just say the things. Just say the things. Kill. I don't need the I just don't need it. Thanks. I'm just throwing that out there for anybody else. Does it tug on people's heartstrings to hear epic music with the words? Anyway, yeah, I want to hear what he's actually going to do, and I want to hear a plan of how we're going to move forward with this. To me personally, Pierre looks like the front runner. He looks like he's the one poised to win it for the Conservatives. But the question is, okay, so he says all the things, he does all the stuff, but is he going to have a party rally behind him and actually have the testicular fortitude to actually do something? Get in there and actually, just get the job done? I don't know. And that's the music pushes the blood pressure. I bet. Come on, Clyde. Many people respond to that. Pierre Poliev is our next prime minister. Okay. I think, like I said, I think he's the one poised to win it. My concern is that, you know, you get a good leader, but unless everyone is behind it and not just establishment, well, what are you going to get out of that? You know what I mean? Like we saw, and a lot of people hate Donald Trump, whatever, but he said all the things, right? He said all the things about immigration, about all the things that people cared about in the US. He gets into office and his party just fought against him the whole time. The Republicans fought against Trump just as much as the Democrats fought against Trump for the most part. And that's what I'm concerned about. So Pierre Poliev gets in as the leader of the Conservatives, and the Conservatives become like never Pierres. I mean, like, what was it in the US? They had the never Trumpers. Is that what it's going to be? I don't know. These are all questions we gotta consider, because yeah, leadership's one thing, but the whole party's been a wet noodle, right? They just, yeah, no fortitude, none whatsoever, and that's unfortunate. Excuse me, this is going to be an ongoing thing. If you can tell, my voice is a little hoarse tonight, but I'm going to do my best. Yes, he'll have a tough mountain to climb, but once he's in power, I totally trust him. He'll crush the Liberal Party in the next election. I believe that because I believe that there's enough people, when they hear his message, and that's okay. This is the hard part: him getting his message out there. So the problem with the Liberals owning the media is they control the narrative. The one thing that I like about Pierre Poliev is that he doesn't allow, and you could see this in the last debate when he was Jean Charest. Jean Charest is a skilled politician. He knows what he's doing, and he knows how to focus the narrative and put people on the defensive. And Pierre Poliev just didn't buy it any way, and he just kept turning it around and going on the attack. And I think that's the way you got to do it. That's the way you got to do it, because yeah, that's the last thing you want is to be, yeah, Jean Charest is a fraud. I believe that. And he's an establishment character that they just brought in there to take over. He's, I mean, Huawei guy. Yeah, Joe Charest. Nice one. Clyde, Pierre Poliev has nothing to lose. He has money. So this is all game for him? Question mark. I don't know. I don't know the answers to these, but I keep digging. He does seem authentic, you know, and I think that's what the big appeal is. So the question is, he gets the position, he gets the job, and then they go into a general election. What's the guarantee that he'll even get his message out there? And that's the hard part, is when the liberal establishment owns the narrative, it's hard to get his message out. I know when his message does get out, people appreciate it, and they do like what he has to say, and they agree with what he's putting forward. That is definitely a thing. Christina W, what's happening? It's been a minute. Where was I? So I wanted to yeah, that's right. Jaggers. So I can't even play the audio for this because I don't want to get the stream taken down. But good old Jaggers coming out of his office. I believe this was in Burnaby. But as he's coming out, people are shouting profanities at him. Like, he's not a popular guy. Calling him a traitor, calling him all this stuff. Berating him as he's going out to his car. Yeah, that was the scene there. And of course, claiming himself to be the victim in this. Well, I can't get rid of that. That's a thing. And yeah, a lot of people are going to say well deserved. Well deserved. But so what was it? Because this is from Viva Clips, and he says, I think this conduct is counterproductive. Viva says it allows the victimizer to play the victim. My humble opinion. What do you say? And yeah, there's a fine line there. You wanna tell people what's been going on. It's priceless if you ask me. But yeah, you wanna give your opinion out there, and you wanna tell them straight up, tell them straight to their face. This is what you put out there. What do you can't expect to do what you're doing in office and then just you just walk away and people are like okay with that. They're not gonna say anything. Now this one I can share the audio with, because this is just hilarious. This guy, he's horrible hypocrite, horrible. But here's another clip from Viva Clips, where it's Jagmeet Singh, Jaggers, doing the Jagger thing.
Yes, I do think that there is an connection with people who aren't wearing a mask or who aren't following public health guidance, and the extreme right, and the idea that folks in the extreme right don't care about people around them, aren't concerned about the safety and well-being of people generally, their neighbors, and
okay, first off, he's saying that anyone who doesn't want to follow the public guidelines is extreme right. So like right there, this is what I was talking about the narrative thing. So what they try to do is put you on the defensive immediately. Well, no, I'm not far right, because I don't consider myself far right. I'm probably like center. Yeah, I don't know if I even fall left or right, depending on the subject that you talk about. But I'm right in the middle. I'm just your standard Canadian. I like fiscal conservatism, but I also don't like the evangelical like movement of the 90s that wants to control what I can see on video games and movies and stuff like that. So I'm like right smack in the middle. But it's guys like this that want to put you on the defensive and call you far right because you don't want to wear a mask for no reason. You don't want to wear a mask because I get it. Like if you're sick, wear a mask. But no, we don't all wear masks because we're told to by the government. This is the thing. And they try to put you on the defensive. And yeah. Well, let's hear what else he says.
extreme right, that kind of ideology.
And then they move forward right there. There's, oh yeah, people who do this are that. Moving on, I'm going to say more stuff.
Is connected with not really caring about the people around you. It's a selfishness where personal interest takes over from a community protection. And
so I would say, from my perspective, like people who tend to be on the right tend to be like religious types, right? So he's throwing the accusation out there that people of that nature are selfish. Now, I looked this up ages ago, and I found out that most people on the far left are less likely to give to charities than people that are on like the religious right. So you have like people giving to charities as opposed to people who don't give to charities. But I mean, there's a reason for it, because the people on the left think that the government should be the ones running the charities, whereas people on the right tend to think governments are terrible at doing stuff, so we'll give to charities in our own right. So he's doing the same thing, and you could throw the accusation at you. You don't care about the things that you say you care about because you're not willing to put your own money into it. You want to take tax dollars from mechanics and truck drivers and get them to foot the bill for that noble cause that you enjoy.
Interest, and we're seeing that is a trend with the extreme right, not caring about people around you, not wanting to invest in social programs, not wanting to invest in things that support all of us as a community. And
that's the thing, not investing in social programs is that not wanting to invest in their social programs. Is that not being charitable, or is that not agreeing with their social program that they're saying, or saying that it's an inefficient program and you don't want to be a part of that? You don't want to be forced into somebody else's charity. I honestly believe that all charity should be voluntary. If you're going to run a charity, it should be based on individuals' voluntary donations into a charity. You shouldn't be forced to pay for somebody else's philanthropy. You can't claim yourself to be a philanthropic if you're not putting skin in the game. My opinion.
And the idea of not following public health guidelines and not wanting to do your part to stop the spread of an infection is very much in line with this extreme right-wing ideology of not caring about people, not supporting the people around you. And it is dangerous and it's hurtful.
Of course, right? Of course. And that's the MO. That's the MO. Say you want to accuse people of the things that you're doing yourself. And the difference is you have these politicians and leaders that say the platitudes, but then they don't do the thing. And then they accuse you when you're not doing the thing of being far right or all these crazy things. But this is why people need to just blow that off. When people accuse you, unless you are far right, which I doubt, I doubt many people in Canada are far right, like what is considered far right. You don't really see much of that. It's just not a thing. Canada, for the most part, is pretty just central, centrist. Even the right wing in Canada celebrates public medicine. You know, like the public healthcare system. So these are just it's funny because they're American talking points, and then they bring it to Canadian politics, and they just don't fly. They just don't fly. And you can, by all means, just dismiss people that bring these ideas out, because if something is ridiculous, it means it's worthy of ridicule. Ridicule it. Ridicule people with bad ideas. And I think that's the whole idea with the idea of free speech is everything deserves sunlight. Everything deserves sunlight. And even the most ridiculous ideas deserve sunlight, because that's the greatest disinfectant. You know, get it out there. Get your dumb ideas out there. Even if you don't have dumb ideas, get your takes out there, because sometimes just having discussions with people that maybe disagree with you will change your opinion and get. That's the idea. Is too many people are not willing to have their opinion swayed. In that case, you're not really getting into conversation with people. You're getting into a shouting match. But that is the thing. But yeah. American politics finding their way into Canadian politics is an interesting thing, and it keeps happening. It's just like the abortion debate. It's not even a debate here right now, but they're bringing it up because Roe versus Wade in the U.S. is being challenged by the Supreme Court. What does that mean for Americans? Most Americans don't even know that. It means it goes to the states, so it means it'll be democratic. If you like the idea of democracy, then you would like the idea of that kind of thing being decided democratically. So, and the irony of Canadian politicians talking about it is the United States now is sending it back to the states the way the Canadian government sent it back to the provinces through the medical care system ages ago. So, I mean, it's like not even a talking point. Well, I mean, it's a talking point because it's popular politics right now, but it's just such a non-issue in Canada. I mean, sure, it's an issue to a lot of people, but it's not a front-running decision making. I'm gonna vote for this guy one way or another because of his views on this particular topic. I don't think it's even on the table for being debated. at this point. I agree with you, Clyde, on the abortion debate. Stop making it a conservative platform. It's not, like I said, it's not even something that's being debated at this moment. But that's the thing. You get these decisive issues and then you make it a voting issue for people. And the best thing to do is to ignore these things and, again, ridicule people for bringing them up. Like, that's ridiculous. I don't want to, you have your opinion, whatever. The laws are the laws in Canada. We're not changing them. It's not being changed anytime soon. So why don't we talk about the things that are actually going to be effective in any sort of leadership race or whatever. But of course, it's sowing discord amongst the conservatives right now, and that's the point. It's the idea, because they know that there's contention on the issue, and I understand that there's contention on the issue. My voice just cracked. Am I going like 16 years old again? It's that or the cold. But yeah, of course there's contention on the issue, and there will be for a long time, but that's just something that we're going to have to live with, because it's not really on the table in Canada. And the idea of it being sent back to the States in the US is not, well, for one, it's not even a Canadian issue. That's what drives me nuts about the whole topic. But let's get on to topics that we can affect. Oh, speaking of Supreme Court cases, this is one I just found out about today, and this is just ridiculous. This is the Supreme Court of Canada. Canada Supreme Court rules extreme intoxication can be a defense in violent crime cases. You kidding me? The Supreme Court of Canada on Friday ruled that defendants accused of violent crimes such as homicide and sexual assault can use self-induced extreme intoxication as a defense. The ruling struck down a federal law supported by women's advocacy groups. The decision was announced in a unanimous decision. There's no more on it. But that is some bad precedent. That is some really bad precedent. So the idea being that if you harm somebody in some way, extreme intoxication could be your out. Now, I could see this being challenged pretty quick, pretty soon, because of the number of drunk driving cases. Because this is what I see happening from this. They rule that extreme intoxication can be in a defense of violent crimes. Well, manslaughter is a violent crime. It's considered a violent crime. Vehicular homicide is a violent crime. So are people going to be smashing into people, getting people killed because of drunk driving and getting off the hook because of this precedent? I think this will become a pretty big contention in the court system moving forward. Not to mention the whole idea that, in the case of the I can't say the word. I don't want to. Yeah, the struggle snuggle. The type of assault that happens between a man and a woman when they don't love each other. I don't know how else you can say that. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. That the person could get away with it. That's terrible. And I think that's what they're going on about, ruling a law that supported women's advocacy groups. So I don't know where this is going and what they were thinking, especially if it was a unanimous decision that people can be get off the hook in the case that they were extremely intoxicated. Terrible. And it doesn't, I don't know if it's specific to intoxicated with what. But again, that's that's a thing, and that's neither here nor I don't know. I don't even know what to say about that. What a terrible, terrible decision going on there. But yeah, you guys can let me know what you think about that. Americans are ordering baby food through Canadian Amazon. Thank you, boys. Yeah, so that's been a story. I wasn't going to talk about that, but that's a thing. So baby formula is now running in shortages. It had a similar issue in China, and then that led to shortages in Australia. Excuse me. When was that going on? Like 2 years ago. And now there's shortages in North America happening in the United States. Meanwhile, they've been telling people not to breastfeed their kids. Like, I don't understand. You got trans people chopping off their boobs and then having babies. And then what do you do? What do you do with that? What do you do with that? I don't even know where to start there. But yeah, we've got formula shortages. All the more reason to get into what do you call them? Breast milk banks. Get involved with your communities, folks. If you got kids, get involved with the other moms. There are situations where mothers produce more than they could ever deal with, and so they have like boob banks, I guess. I don't know what you call them. Sorry, somebody in the chat tell me what they're called. I know of them. Within my family, we haven't had this issue where the wife has always been breastfeeding our kids. Our weekend fun. Hey, brother, the wife and I have been watching for months. Love your stuff. Keep up the good work. Here's a beer on us. Thanks. Oh, cheers. Cheers. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And after this live stream, if you're interested, we're going to be watching 2000 Mules, the Dinesh D'Souza film. That'll go towards the purchase of buying that. We'll be watching that in the Discord. The links in the description to join the Discord. Anybody who wants to come and join in for that. But yeah, definitely get into that. Milkmaids. Are we being serious here? What are they called? Wet nurses. Is that what? No. They don't actually come with their boobs. They there's a thing where women that have too much breast milk can pump it out and then donate it to other families that are lacking. Honk. Oh god, you guys are funny. Big mommy milkies. Wet mothers. Shameless. You guys are shameless. It's funny. Yeah. There is a thing though, and I know that some families engage into that because, you know, some others they can't. If you had kids and you're like, oh, but I don't want my boobs to look different later, so I'm gonna not breastfeed. Get out of here. Get with it. We all do things to our bodies, and we probably wouldn't like to, but we do it for the sake of making life better for the people around us. I.e., working in a shop and handling chemicals all day long. I mean, I do it. So, yeah, just it's a thing. It's a thing that we do. I still love that milkmaids. That's great. They are called milkmaids. Really? Utterly. Ah. Nice. Okay. But that's it's a thing. It's a thing. So I think more people should engage in that kind of thing. Get involved with your communities. I think this is a big step forward for people to figure out how this new society that we're getting pushed into is not a great thing. The way we should be moving forward is creating more communities, not separating ourselves as much, because this whole concept of sucking from the government teat is not the way to go. People should be sucking from their own teats, if you know what I'm saying, or stick within the community. I don't know how to say that nicely. But are you watching 2000? Standard graphics? Yes, we will be in the Discord. Check it out after. We'll be doing that right after this stream. As I go over some more topics. But yeah, that's a thing that's happening. But amongst all the other food shortages, which is a crazy thing that's going on in the States, but also happening here too. So we're having food shortages, but simultaneously we're having food processing plants on record numbers bursting into flames, it would seem. So that's a thing. Sorry, I'm just pulling up more stuff here. I've got Twitter's been exploding, so lots of people sending me stuff on Twitter. If you're not on Twitter yet, get over there and come hang out with us on Twitter. It's a cool place these days. But let's talk about Twitter. What's going on here? So the Twitter deal with Elon Musk is on a temporary hold, apparently. So, and this is him tweeting this out, right? This is Elon Musk tweeting this out 16 hours ago. Twitter deal temporary on hold pending details supporting calculation that spam fake accounts do indeed represent less than 5% of users. So he also says that he's still committed to the acquisition of the company. What about all the wood warehouse fires? Christina, send me a link about that. I'd like to know more about that, if that's something that's going on. Because, yeah, the price of lumber is just ridiculous anymore. It's crazy. But let's get into this. Twitter estimates spam fake accounts comprise less than 5% of users in a filing. So this is in their SEC filing, saying that 5%. So this is opening a big door, right? So this might prove more worthwhile an endeavor than it seems on the surface here. So Musk shelves the $44 billion Twitter deal temporarily, and the shares slump. So social media company had 229 million users who were served advertising in the first quarter. Now, so this is what valuates the company. So the number of users and how they can serve them advertising, right? That's where you get the value for your company. I know you can speculatively raise the price or lower the price, but at the end of the day, it's dividends that are paid out to the shareholders that determines what the value of any company is worth. Excuse me. I'm just trying to keep my voice from going completely shot here. The disclosure came days after Tesla chief executive Elon Musk, who inked a deal to buy Twitter for $44 billion, tweeted out that one of his priorities would be to remove the spam bots from the platform. Twitter said in a filing it faced several risks until the deal with Musk is closed, such as whether advertisers would continue to spend on Twitter, and potentially uncertain regarding our future plans and strategy. So one of the big issues here is, well, if he gets rid of all the bots out of 229 million users, well, how many actual users will be left? So if that's 5% of that user base, it's a lot. That's a lot of users. But speculation has been showing that it may be a lot more. It may be a lot more. So the idea being that when Musk made the announcement that he was going to buy it, and Twitter announced that they were going to sell it to him, that day, a lot of people noticed bots disappearing off of the platform, and some liberal accounts had lost thousands, hundreds of thousands of users or followers, and meanwhile there's a big influx of conservative users with new follows and stuff like that. So I noticed a giant spike in the just the visibility of my posts. A lot of people are thinking that, well, that's people kind of hiding the stuff that they've been doing up until that point. But that being said, they think a lot of the bots were getting deleted at that time. So bots that had particular purposes, whether it's to follow certain accounts or whatever. But the Twitter jumped back in and said, no, it seems to be genuine activity on the website. So they were saying, no, it looks like that was a lot of people leaving the platform and a lot of people coming onto the platform. I don't buy the leaving the platform thing, because a lot of people said they were going to move to Canada when Donald Trump got elected, and that didn't happen. I don't think that they're leaving Twitter. It's what keeps them up at night. So that's a thing. Brody, you cannot stop a narcissist. I don't know which narcissist you're talking about, but all these people on Twitter, there's so many of them. What are the odds that 2 food processing plants getting hit by planes within a week's time of each other? It's more than that, Christina. It's much more than that. There's like so many places catching fire, not just getting hit by planes, but they're getting hit by planes is pretty crazy. But yeah, there's a lot of food processing plants getting hit. But anyway, back to the Twitter thing. So the thing is, there's so many accounts that have like hundreds of thousands of followers, but they put out a tweet and they only ever get like 2 to 3 likes. Like if you have that many followers, just odds would say that a lot more people would see your posts than that. And yeah, so that the case is that a lot of these accounts are just bot accounts. Not only that, there are a lot of people that have 2, 3, 4 sock accounts, and Twitter is pretty known for it. If you've been on Twitter long enough, you'll see that you'll reply to somebody, and then they'll reply back, but with a different account, posing as somebody else. And it's always like somebody who's got an account that's not been around for a long time, it's got no follows, something like that. And the best part to call people out is Salt Army is Legion. Yeah, I love the Salt Army. So many people are telling me to go check out Salty Cracker. I checked him out. I like his content. It's great. But yeah, there's so many people with these sock accounts because they don't want it to be on their timeline and tweets and replies of the stuff, the vitriol that they have to spew. It's just like, ugh. And it's good what Elon wants to do with the company. What I think he's doing here, though, is he's doing an actual bid, and he's playing the market. So he offered $44 billion. They took the deal, and now he's gone. So then there was like some filing in Delaware or some state where they're trying to sue under this regulation in that state, where if they file a grievance, that they can hold the acquisition off for 3 years. Apparently it's like I think it was Delaware, some law from some other state. I haven't read much more about that since, but that was a thing that was happening to try to put off Elon Musk taking over the platform. Now Elon's saying, I'm going to put it on hold for a minute because I want to get a real valuation of what the company's worth. And this is a good move, right? New bid, $42 a share. Patrol Nissan, where do you get that information? Send me a DM in Discord, because I want to know about that. Yeah, send me a DM. By the way, I know Patrol Nissan. We go way back. But so new bid. So this is my theory. Elon Musk wants to take it back and go, hold on a second, I'm gonna reassess, because they've been like slowly inching at giving it to him, not giving it to him outright. But then he's pulling back and he's going, let's have a look at how many of the users are actual genuine users. and then the value dropping massively, and then him being able to gobble it up for a lot less money. And that would be pretty crazy. That would be pretty crazy. Because then at that point, either he buys it at that price, at the new price, or he doesn't buy it, and then everybody loses a huge amount of value, which I don't think that the CEOs would allow for that, because a chief executive officer in charge of the Twitter stock that they have for some other conglomerate would have to take the highest amount that they could possibly get, or else they're on the hook for the fiduciary responsibility of not getting the the amount that they could possibly get. But yeah, Patrol Nissan, if you have an article on the new offer, let me know, because I'll pop that up on the screen. Send it to me in a DM. But that's all I've got on that for now. But it looks like Elon Musk is genuine in him saying that he's still committed to acquisition. But playing it smart, saying, I'm not going to give you $44 billion if your company's only worth $40 billion or $35 billion, something like that. I think he's playing his cards. And it's good, because I'd like to see the bots go too. I'd honestly like to see the bots go. And 42 is a plot joke. Or is a pot joke. 420. Jeez. You got me. Okay. Because it was 5420. And that was the original joke. But I fell for it. Hook, line, and sinker. You got me. Anyway, moving on. What else we got? This is some things. I'm going a little long on this one because we do want to cut it short on this stream, just because we're going to get into the 2000 Mules video over in the Discord. This is a story I wanted to get into here. And this is Carolyn Borjowski. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm grateful for the fair press coverage of my story, including the segment on CTV News, Kitchener News. I'm also grateful for the wonderful support I've received in the last few days of my GoFundMe campaign. So what is this pertaining to? Well, this is a woman in Waterloo region. It's funny because I did a story on this Waterloo University where they were going crazy woke with their messaging, but this actually turned into a story where there's a little backlash going on, and I'm happy to see it.
A now retired Waterloo Region District School Board teacher has launched a lawsuit against the board and its chairperson. This comes after the teacher was removed from a board meeting where she was making a presentation after the chairperson called her comments transphobic. CTV's Stephanie Villela reports.
Make it seem simple or even cool to take.
3 months after this controversial board meeting, former Waterloo Region District School Board teacher Carolyn Borjowski is suing the school board and chairperson Scott Pietkowski for defamation and damages of emotional suffering.
I became the center of a national media frenzy.
Borjowski declined an interview with CTV News, but posted this video to social media.
The enormous stress on me and my family from these events has been overwhelming. On January 22nd, I suffered a breakdown from extreme anxiety and was taken to the hospital by ambulance. I am still in recovery from this trauma.
During a January virtual board meeting, Borjowski was giving a delegation about school library books, raising concerns that some of the resources about gender and sexuality were inappropriate for young children.
This book makes very serious medical interventions seem like an easy cure for emotional and social distress. And remember,
so I'm going to have to
Point of order.
Halfway through the presentation, Chair Pietkowski stopped her, citing concerns about violating the Human Rights Code.
I'm just getting a little concerned.
She was then kicked out of the meeting, and the video recording of the entire meeting was removed from the board's social media channels. Court documents show Borjowski is suing for more than $1.7 million in damages. The documents state that the statements the board and Pietkowski used to describe Burjowski were false and damaging to her reputation. Burjowski claims the comments caused considerable embarrassment, distress, anxiety, and harm, and wrongfully labeled her as transphobic.
I am deeply concerned by the punitive way that the board and its chair acted in this matter.
In a statement, Burjowski's lawyer says they gave the board and its chair an opportunity to issue an apology, adding, Burjowski's hope is that by pursuing this claim, she will help to ensure that future school boards are not able to silence and malign delegations that present concerns they do not want to hear or are that inconsistent with their ideology.
Yeah.
CTV News reached out to Waterloo Region District School Board and Chairperson Scott Pietkowski. Both said they will not comment. Stephanie Villela, CTV News.
As she's standing right there in front of it. But yeah, it's okay. So first, let's tear this apart. The story starts, and it's funny because I feel a little less sympathetic at the beginning because it's like I suffered emotional damages and okay, I had to call an ambulance because of my emotions. Like, all right, lady, come on. Like we all go through tough things. We all have tough ones, you know. I don't know so much about the whole like calling an ambulance because of your emotions and all that stuff. I tend less to take any sort of validity to that personally. I don't know. I've been emotional and I've never had to call an ambulance. But that being said, what she went through is terrible. And it shouldn't be the case. So yeah, this whole idea of it's bordering on what was the statement that
became the center of a national media frenzy.
Burjowski declined an
enormous 22nd. I am
about school library books, raising concerns that some of the resources about gender and sexuality were inappropriate for young.
I agree. A lot of the stuff that's coming out these days is inappropriate for kids. And a lot of it is, why are we... Okay, I get it. Okay? There are a few people in society that have weird proclivities that are, and I say weird because they're unusual and they're not usual. A lot of things are things these days are trying to make the unusual usual, and it's no. Let's live in a world where normal things occur instead of forcing things to be what you want them to be for whatever political ideology that you happen to have. And it just happens to coincide that there's this epidemic of kids claiming that they have these other proclivities right after they're all being taught about these proclivities. And maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe just maybe that has something to do with it. But here's the thing. I'm pro the concept of preserving innocence. I'm very much pro the concept of preserving innocence. Children are children. They are not sexual beings. They don't engage in sexual acts. These are children and they're innocent. They don't have these I'm pro. Yeah, they don't engage in this unless they're taught these things to engage in, and that's called grooming. And that's when adults step in with their proclivities and try to normalize this with children. And I'm gonna have to disagree with that concept. Now, what they get into in this story is that what was it?
Young children.
This book makes very serious medical interventions seem like an easy cure for emotional and social distress. And remember,
so I'm going to have to
point of order.
Halfway through the presentation, Chair Pietkowski stopped her, citing concerns about violating the Human Rights Code.
The Human Rights Code. So the Human Rights Code has precedent over your children's innocence. Is that the argument that we're going to have today? Is that the world we live in? noticed since 2015. Everything gone wrong. Who came into the scene in 2015? Tell me that one in the chat. Clyde sent you an Instagram message about May 18th. I'll have to check that out. I don't typically check Instagram messages. I try to as much as I can, but that inbox got flooded. Holy cow. I don't even use Instagram. I have it, but hit me up on Twitter. That's usually the best way to get a hold of me. But yeah, this human rights concept, is that where we're going to go down the road of we're going to use the Human Rights Tribunal to bring people into this concept of grooming children into becoming whatever it is that they want them to become? And do you know of Jeremy McKenzie? The name sounds familiar. I don't though. But yeah, I'm glad to see that she's winning this lawsuit. But what needs to happen is not just win this lawsuit. She needs to. The rules need to change. Like they're not learning any lesson by just paying this person off with tax dollars, and then making the problem go away for them, and then they just continue on with the same ideology. No, things need to change, and that's where we need to be. That's where we need to go. But that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at this week. I wanted to throw some other things in here, but it got tough. It got tough. This getting sick. That was the worst part of the week. And it wasn't just me. It was the whole fam. The whole fam caught it, starting with my little boy Daniel. He got all feverish early in the week, and then all of a sudden we all caught it. We're all bedridden yesterday and today. So that's how it goes. That's what it's like when you have kids. When you get into that that world of making the next generation. Doing good, Clyde. Thank you so much. Wake up from being woke. That's it. This the idea of get woke, go broke needs to go further. And I'm a big proponent of it. If you wanna go along with this ideology of grooming kids, well, I'm just not gonna buy your products anymore. I'm completely off of Disney because done with them. The stuff that I've heard recently. If you want to know a lot about what's going on with that situation, you need to follow the podcast of the Lotus Eaters. It's a really good podcast here on YouTube. You can check them out. They have more on their website, which is behind a paywall, but they've been getting into a lot of what's going on with Disney. So you can definitely check them out. And that's the podcast of the Lotus Eaters. And that's with Carl Benjamin, who is one of the first to get canceled off Twitter all those years ago when he went against the Blue Hairs for whinging about rights. It was the first wave of third wave feminism that was it fourth wave whatever. That's when he got his cancel. But the podcast of the Lotus Eaters is fantastic. You should definitely go check that one out because they've been talking lots about the Disney story. The more I learn about it, the less I want my kids anywhere near that company, Disney. But it's not just Disney; it's a bunch of other companies, and that's it. If you want to get woke with your business, I'm just gonna walk away. That's what I can do. I don't owe you. Nobody owes you their money. If you want to try grooming kids, jeez, no, not getting it. But I'm gonna leave it at that. If anyone's interested, come check us out. Come join us in the Discord. We're gonna be hanging out and we're gonna be watching Dinesh D'Souza's film the 2,000 mules. I'm illegally streaming your stream on my Facebook page. I'll leave it up as long as I can. I'm fresh off the 30-day ban for posting your C19 vids. Okay. Wow. At least you're honest. Jeez, I don't stream on Facebook anyway. But yeah, I'm not encouraging that, but you do what you got to do. It is what it is. But yeah, everybody who wants to come hang out, come join us in the Discord. We'll be hanging out there after this live stream. And as always, I'd like you guys to have a great weekend. Enjoy your time with your families and your friends and all that stuff. Tree Climber, thank you so much for the tip. Pretend these are rubies or rubles. Thank you so much. But my voice is starting to fade, and it looks like I'm not going to be able to hold this one up for much longer. So we'll see you on Monday in the videos, and of course, going to be trying to set something up with James Top. That could be as soon as next Friday live stream, but not sure yet. We'll see how that goes. So we'll definitely see you guys all in the next one. And as always,